Hello. My name's Mary. I do stuff for The Guardian. I write about games sometimes, and if you were here last December, then you've seen what I can do with Super Hexagon. Thank you. I am here today to swear about games. Fuck complete. Fuck games that think they deserve your valuable time, but that they don't have to earn it. I'm here to rant specifically about beating games. So fuck beating games, because we are so far beyond that concept now that for the vast majority of games it makes about as much sense as trying to beat Michelangelo's David. Some games are made of mechanics. Ooh. And if you've mastered a mechanic as much as you want to, then you can stop. That's okay. Some games are made of stories, and if you've experienced as much of a story as you want to, then you can stop. Even if it's a really good game. You're allowed. It's okay. You don't owe games your time, but if they're hard and you love them, and what you want to do is throw yourself at them again and again and again, even though maybe you're not very good at them, that's also okay. If they bore you, or they fatigue you, or they just don't fucking interest you, you are not obliged to continue. Even if you're still in the tutorial, especially if the tutorial is more than a fucking hour long. Related. Fuck 80 hours of gameplay. Games that are more than 10 hours long are, almost without exception, paced awfully. There is no possible way that a game can take into account the varied human contextual needs for pauses and breaks and to go to the bathroom and to do all of the other basic human things that happen because we are humans. Even if they're paced perfectly, it's very difficult for a game to achieve that. 3 times that length is even harder, and longer than that, I think it's pretty much impossible. I mean, at 10 hours, you have to start thinking episodically, you have to start thinking like a TV series, you have to give breaks for people to put the controller down, and it's really difficult to know, again, in an interactive medium, where your players are going to be. But 200 hours? Really? And you're not wasting my time? You can't sustain traditional linear storytelling that way. Even if you keep the plot together, the pace collapses. And then, in order to pad a game out, what you get is not traditional linear storytelling. It's fucking collectibles. Every fucking time. Because for some reason, game designers think that isn't lazy. So, to be absolutely clear about this, collectibles in a story-based game are straight up shit. They are the narrative equivalent of bear traps. Every time Batman stops fighting crime to go figure out how to get a big kind of metal ball out of a massive maze, because that's more important than the tanks. Or, you know, Alan Wake stops running away from the super creepy ghost because there might be a fucking thermos on a hill. That ruins your story. That ruins your pacing. It takes everything that your game is about and just pisses it up a wall because you want people to stay in your game for longer. You're okay with fucking up the good bits just to make people do the bad bits for longer. That is completely ass backwards. So I'm here to say that your time is worth more than that. So who remembers this? The infinite quests in Skyrim, right? And it turned out that literally all of them were acquire 6 sapphires, or fetch for me these ancient and venerable herbs, adventurer, which are just over there and I can't be bothered to walk it, or kill 6 snow moose, or, you know, you get the idea. And what players actually wanted wasn't infinite quests. Is this. It's infinite cheese, among other things. I mean, what players want is modability. It's the capacity to make up your own ridiculous dreams and then fulfill them incomprehensibly for some reason just because you want to. So, items are fascinating, generally, and collecting stuff in games, especially in deep, rich game worlds, is actually a really interesting pastime and lots of fun to do, but only when you're doing it for your own reasons. I mean, collecting 50 oysters from a variety of locations in San Andreas so that your in-game girlfriend will like you more is grunt work, and nobody should have to do it, even in a GTA game. Your time is worth more than that. So I played Divinity Original Sin, which is an excellent game, and I played using a 3-player mod that didn't let me create my own character, so I played as Jehan, who, if you've not played the game, is a kind of water-ice wizard who turns out to be... Anyway, spoilers. His main feature is making everybody else either stop moving or fall over on ice. So as a responsible party member and adventurer, I crafted dozens and dozens of hobnail boot sets and gave them to my fellow adventurers so that they wouldn't fall over. And they threw them away every time. And so I did it again and kept doing it, and then explored the far reaches of the game to find more hobnails and more boots so that I could ensure that they would be appropriately shod when I made them fall over again. And the game didn't care that I did that. The only people that cared that I did that were me and the people I was playing with. That was meaningful. That was a meaningful thing that I did in the game. Ithildin can fuck off. Collectibles do make sense in some games. Platforming games, they become an incentive to show additional skill, potentially. And sometimes collections make sense in the context of the game world, in the context of the fiction. Please note, audio logs do not fucking count and can also get fucked. But any game that feels the need to drag you through its core mechanics purely by playing on the human tendency to just really want to clean stuff up, no, that game is lazy. If it was really, really good, you'd play the whole damn thing anyway and you'd enjoy it. You'd enjoy the mechanics rather than the things, the shiny, shiny things. And the minute you replace an intrinsic motivation, something that I actually want to do because it's enjoyable, with an extrinsic motivation, even if that external motivator is just pixels, it gets less fun. It's less fun to do because you tried to make me do it. And there's a bunch of research around this stuff. It's bad. Don't do it. And while we're on the subject, fuck achievements. Really, fuck achievements. Achievements are pretty much the embodiment of making a fun thing less fun by adding an external reward system. Very occasionally, they encourage you to play a game in a new or an unusual way so that you can get some fucking pixels to tell you that you've fucking done it. Not because it's fun or interesting, but because you get the pixels, and more often, games encourage you to play them in ways that are less fun than you actually want, because you get the pixels. And the human need for achievement and for reward is so great that this shit actually works on us really, really well. So that there's actually an entire industry built around applying this principle to stuff that is genuinely really unrewarding, like really terrible manual labour or working on a checkout. Trying to use these principles to make awful work that might need to be, managed differently, fun by giving you some pixels. Why are games doing that? Aren't games meant to be fun on their own? So fuck gamification, and particularly fuck the gamification of games, because you don't need badges to tell you how to enjoy your time or how to consume your media. And some of the best achievements satirise the use of achievements themselves. There's an achievement up here that you literally can't get. It's beautiful. There's an achievement up here that means the developer occasionally gets delivered cake in the mail. I mean, brilliant. Well done. Because some people genuinely want the completion that badly, and then they get to discover in the same game there's an achievement they can't complete. Like, that's wonderful. That's some masterful trolling. But the other issue with that is that sometimes you get games that are all about achievements, where the achievements are the entire point, and that tends to fall into the cow clicker issue, which is if the satire of the thing is indistinguishable from the thing itself, at what point does it stop being satire and just become a replication of the problem? But the single worst achievement-related thing I've ever seen is this. You see that at the bottom? That says 6 perfect games. As though a game, or my playing of it, is only perfect because I played the metagame. Now, I played Gone Home perfectly, beautifully, and there are no achievements in Gone Home, so according to Steam, I can't possibly have played it perfectly. My experience can't be perfect unless there's achievements attached. The thing about Gone Home is it has no achievements for the same reason that Gone with the Wind doesn't have achievements. It doesn't need them. So in addition, fuck grinding. Fuck grinding to get an achievement in particular. But also fuck the idea of gating my game until I've made numbers go up. Gate things that need me to go do more story first, for sure. Gate them behind the story. What a wonderful pacing mechanic. It's almost like it's happened organically. Gate things that don't make sense and gate them behind stuff that does make sense. Don't just do, you shouldn't be here, go level up, here is a dragon, your party is dead. Oh no, hope you saved. Fucking Dragon Age. Don't make me go over and over the same mechanics over and over again as a way of padding out the experience, unless they're actually fun. And even if they are fun, why can't I use them? What's up with that? And if you want something to be hard, to be complex, to represent mastery, high-end gear in MMO games, for example, give me different ways to achieve it. Let me do the long bits of the game in a way that's actually fun. And if you're just filling in time to get to 80 hours of gameplay, then no. Stop it. Let me get to the fun fucking part of the game. In fact, start me in the fun fucking part of the game, because you do not have a long time before I will stop playing the game and go do something else that is actually fun. Because fuck finishing a game before you make your mind up. Ooh, that was meant to be about grinding. It's a mob grinder in Minecraft. That's intelligent grinding, right? Let your players literally hack the game to make it easy. But yeah, here is a selection of games that I've played for less than 20 minutes. I've played some awful games. Not all of these games are awful. But I've played some awful games for less than 10 minutes, and I don't see why it makes sense that I should have to play more of them in order to check whether or not they're still awful after an hour. A lot of games give you enough information to be able to answer that question up front. I know that I don't want to shoot people in the head from a distance. I don't have to play the rest of Sniper Elite to know that it's not for me. That doesn't mean it's not for you. Super Hexagon isn't for everybody, but at least it lets you get that knowledge out of the way super quickly. Less than 3 seconds for most people. But also I can have a perfectly cogent and informed opinion on a game's mechanics and its style really, really quickly. Samaros 2, for instance, which is in this list, is a really lovely game. It's a traditional adventure game, and I cannot be asked with traditional adventure games. I'd strongly support everybody that loves traditional adventure games going and playing it. You might love it. It's gorgeous, it's lovely and stylish, and I can't be bothered. And that's okay. That's okay. Because, really, it's okay to stop playing if you aren't having fun. It's okay to embrace the idea that games that waste your time don't actually deserve your attention. You can embrace the idea that even really big games with loads of marketing spend can be bad. They can just be awful sometimes. And also, small games that have less than 20 minutes to get your attention tend to be actually quite respectful of your time, because they know exactly how long they've got and they're not going to fuck about, right? So embrace the serendipity and the strangeness, and embrace weird, because weird will at least fuck you about in ways that you've not been fucked about before. Reject time wasting, embrace not needing to play everything, and fuck complete. Your time is worth more than that.